Hello, Diana from Crooked Little Studio. I am going to talk to you today about storing your gel plate. It can be confusing because the information that's on the instructional literature when you buy one can be a little bit different from what's on the website and from what different artists are doing different things. So the thing, the main thing I want to point out is this says, and how to use, remove clear film and discard. All right. The reason they say that is because when you try to put this back onto the gel plate, chances are really good that you're going to trap air bubbles in here, and they're going to be hard to get out. You can kind of see on here. Of course, I'm not trying hard to get them out, but there's almost always an air bubble in there. And if there's a trapped air bubble in between the gel plate and this plastic or acetate or whatever this stuff is, you're going to get little indentations in the gel plate. Okay, so you don't want to do that. You want to protect the surface with paper. Now, this says remove instructional insert and the clear film from both sides of the gel plate and store upright in the original packaging. Well, the problem with that is that the original packaging is basically the same type of stuff. So you're going to get air bubbles if you've got a bare gel plate inside of here. You're going to get those trapped air bubbles. So we're going to use paper. This one you can see has paper on it. So what you need to do, let me take this off. You want to make sure there's not any dried paint on here. I see a little piece of cat fuzz. Yep. You want to clean that off. The best way to clean some of this off is with some of the masking tape. This is the masking tape that I like to use. This is Scotch 3M painter's tape for delicate surfaces. You get this at the hardware store in the paint department. Okay, so we're not going to leave this on for a long period of time. We're just going to do this quickly. I can use this tape. I'm kind of getting around that edge there. These sides aren't that critical, but you can get the paint off like that. And I picked up that piece of cat fuzz. Little bitty pieces of dried paint will dig into the surface once you put that protective piece of paper on it. So make sure you've cleared up all of the dried paint. Now, all right, I have copy paper. This is the cheapest copy paper that I have that you can buy probably. It's pretty thin. The reason I get the thin kind is because the thinner the paper, the less of the oil that's in the plate that it can absorb, right? So we want to just let the paper be slightly larger. I added 1/4 of an inch to each dimension. So this is 3 1/4 by 5 1/4 for a 3 by 5 plate. When you do a larger plate, you'll have to add a little bit more because they're wobbly, they're not square. Okay, so when I put this down, I'm just going to carefully do this. The paper snugs up to the plate and all the air bubbles, there aren't any trapped air bubbles in there now. Okay, now if you've got your plate on a non-porous surface like this or like this, and you try to lift that up, your paper's going to come off there. So what you do is, if I just take the tape off of here, I'll show you that I can now pick this up, remove that, and I can turn it over. You can also, if you've got it just sitting on your desk, you could, before you start, put a piece of paper down. Just grab this one. You know, when you're putting your paper on there, and then you can turn it over and peel this off. And then the other piece goes down like so. And then there are also discrepancies in they say store them flat or store them upright in their clamshell. I do both, honestly. I have, for my larger ones, or some of my larger ones, I have a plastic milk crate in my closet. I put thin pieces of newsprint on either side. I put them back in the clamshell, and they're stored pretty much upright. They kind of lean a little bit. So far, I haven't had any problems. I have another 3 by 5 that I carry this around in my purse, quite honestly, quite often, because I go to gallery walk and people are coming through looking at my work, and they don't know what a gel plate is. So I take this with me so I can just demonstrate, and there it is. Now notice that when you pull the paper off like this, it's going to curl up. Hold on to it. This has already absorbed the maximum amount of oil or whatever from the gel plate that it's going to. So I try to save these if at all possible so I can just put them back on. So I'm going to put that back on later. And then I just wanted to show you how I store them flat. All right, here are a few that are stored stacked. I've got, let's see, 3 8x10s with a 6x6 on top of that. They are stored flat. I think that's fine. I haven't had any issues with this at all. You just want to make sure that you're not piling heavy things on top. That could be harmful, but I think 3 or 4 like that is going to be just fine. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have suggestions for storing these things in a better way.